Oh, there's a gallant landscape that ever you did see. It lies between old Canada and the Atlantic Sea. It's covered all over with flowers and decked with bending greens. It is the pleasantest place to me that lies on Lake Champlain. Oh, on this lake's fair bosom, sweet Mary swiftly glides. Above its sparkling waters where playful fishes hide. The birds were singing in the air their most delightful glee. It seemed to me a madrigal directed unto me. Oh, I sat down by Mary's side and I told her my desire. I clasped her to my bosom, I asked her to be mine. She answered me with a blinding smile that she would be my mate. She is the lovely Mary, the lily of the lake.
A is for the anchors that lie in its bays.
B's for the boats that slid down its ways.
C's for Champlain, Samuel by name. And D, he discovered this lake of great fame. Merrily, cheerily, so lucky are we, a home for to make on this bountiful lake. The islands and sunsets are always so fine, and we've sung its praises since 1609. E's for the Enterprise, Benedict Arnold's flagship.
And F is for freedom, he gave the British the slip.
G is for grandeur of the mountains so high.
And H for the heartaches for all those who died.
Merrily, cheerily, so lucky are we, a home for to make on this bountiful lake. The islands and sunsets are always so fine, and we've sung its praises since 1609. I is for the ice that cracks in the spring.
J is for juniper, of that island we sing.
K is for Kilroy, did you know he was here?
L's for the lumber stacked on Queen City's pier.
Merrily, cheerily, so lucky are we, a home for to make on this bountiful lake. The islands and sunsets are always so fine, and we've sung its praises since 1609. M's Mallett's Bay, where we learned to swim.
N's for New York State, that long western rim.
O is odds the oh-so in the spirit of the lake.
And P stands for Plattsburgh, you make no mistake.
Merrily, cheerily, so lucky are we, a home for to make on this bountiful lake. The islands and sunsets are always so fine, and we sung its praises since 1609. Q is for Quebec, that land to the north.
R's Richelieu, where the rapids hold forth.
S is for St. Albans, where the trains used to run.
And T's Ticonderoga, also called Carry On.
Merrily, cheerily, so lucky are we, a home for to make on this bountiful lake. The islands and sunsets are always so fine, and we've sung its praises since 1609. U's for underwater, where the shipwrecks lie low.
And V's for Vermont, where there's life's taken slow.
W is for Winooski, where the onions grow green. And X marks the spot where old Champ was last seen. Merrily, cheerily, so lucky are we, a home for to make on this bountiful lake. The islands and sunsets are always so fine, and we've sung its praises since 1609. Y is for the yachts that often sail through.
Z Zadok Thompson, the lake's on page 2.
Z is also for zero in the cold winter time, and now we have brought all the letters to rhyme. Merrily, cheerily, so lucky are we, a home for to make on this bountiful lake. The islands and sunsets are always so fine, and we've sung its praises since 1609. It was early one morning, Willie Ladner arose, and straight to his comrade's bedchamber he goes, crying, "Comrade, loyal comrade, let nobody know. 'Tis a fine summer's morning, and a bathing we'll go. To the Lake of Champlain these two comrades soon came, and who should they meet but our keeper of the game, saying, "Turn back, Willie Ladner, and do not venture in, for there's deep and false waters in the Lake of Champlain." But young Willie jumped in and he swam the lake round. He swam to an island that was soft boggy ground, crying, "Comrade, loyal comrade, do not follow me in, for there's deep and false waters in the Lake of Champlain." It was later that morning Willie's sister arose, and off to her mother's bedchamber she goes, saying, "I had a strange dream about Willie last night. He came to my room in a shroud of snow white." Willie's mother then rose and she ran to the lake. She called out his name and she wept for his sake, saying, "Sad was the hour that my Willie jumped in to the deep and false waters of the Lake of Champlain." It was early next morning, Willie's uncle came there. He rode round the lake like a man in despair. He stripped off his clothes and he swam the lake round. He swam to an island where Willie was found. Now to see Willie's funeral, it was a sad sight.
There were 24 maidens, and they're all dressed in white. There were 24 young men, laid 'em down in the clay, saying farewell, dearest Willie, and they all marched away. And they all marched away.
Parading near St. Peter's flood, full 14,000 soldiers stood, allied with natives of the wood, with frigates, sloops, and galleys near, which southward now began to steer the object Ticonderoga.
Assembled at Missisquoi Bay, a feast they held to hail the day when all should bend to British sway, from Plattsburgh to Ticonderoga. And who could tell if reaching there they might not other laurels share, and England's flag in triumph bear to the capital at Albany. People who live in these modern days, knowing the truth, would be amazed that in 1814 these very waves washed the battle of Lake Champlain. Sir George beheld the prize at stake. Macomb's brave legions drove him back, and England's fleet approached to meet in desperate combat on the lake. Then down on our ships she poured her flame, and many a tar did kill or maim, who suffered for their country's fame, her soil to save, her rights to guard. MacDonough now began his play. Soon his seamen heard him say, no Saratoga yields today to all the force that Britain sends. People who live in these modern days, knowing the truth, would be amazed that in 1814 these very waves washed the battle of Lake Champlain. The fire began with an awful roar, and our first flash the artillery tore from his proud stand their Commodore, a presage of the victory. In vain they fought, in vain they sailed. That day for Britain's fortune failed, and their best efforts not availed to hold dominion on Champlain. People who live in these modern days, knowing the truth, would be amazed that in 1814 these very waves washed the battle of Lake Champlain.